Hey guys, ladies, welcome to Fantasy Sports Consulting. As always, I am your host, Ryan Kostrowski. We are here today. We're going to talk a little NBA DFS GPP strategy. Getting fired up to talk about this. Started dabbling with the preseason a little bit more last night. Took 30th out of 3,500 in a tournament, which paid out 8 times buy-in. Got me fired up to talk about a little NBA DFS. So I'm coming here today. We're talking specifically tournament strategy for GPPs, Draftkings. I'm a Draftkings player. This is a formula or a system that I came up with last year. I talked about it at length last year. I know a lot of people started to use it, and they started to really up the results in tournaments. So if you pay attention, if you try it, if you play around with it for a few weeks, you should get better at it. It should help your GPP strategy. It's specifically meant for more of your common player, your guy who works 9 to 5, has a family, has a life, and can't sit around all day and do this. So it's a really good system for your common, everyday folk who aren't doing this full time but would still like to remain competitive within tournaments. So if you're new to the channel, if you're catching me for the first time, I will be on here routinely throughout the NBA season. Already on here talking football. We do baseball. We do the 3 major sports. Subscribe to this channel. Hit that red button that says subscribe. That's the easiest way to get notifications that the daily video is out. If you're big into NBA DFS, I'm here to help. I feel that I'm pretty good at NBA DFS. Took down about 10K in winnings last year, and I'm not somebody who plays for hundreds of dollars a day. I would say that at most, during the peak of my hot streak last year, I was betting $150 a day, but mostly more along the lines of, I would say, 40 to 70, kind of in that range. So to bring down 10K, obviously I had a big finish in the GPP. I took down 6,500 when I got second place one Sunday afternoon on a $3 bet. So I'll take that. And then I also had a lot of other top 25 finishes within the 50 to 60,000 person tournaments. So I feel that I know what I'm talking about. I would actually say that I'm probably better at the cash games than NBA, but I still want to see if the line has been tightened this year on a cash game cashing score versus the GPP cashing score. If you follow me for the other sports, I've really moved away from playing cash games and mostly focused on tournaments. So up until the start of NBA season, I am running a sale on my advanced DFS services. There's a video down in the comments section you can watch. It's about 6 minutes long, I think. It'll go into a little more detail, but a real brief summary, what you would get from me. DraftKings no longer allows lineup sharing. You're still finding people out there doing it, but repercussions are coming. I've been told by the people I know at DraftKings that it's going to be a slower process, but eventually they're going to weed everybody out. So what I will do is I will put together lineups 5/8 towards completion for cash, and then I'll also share with you my 5-pack for NBA tournaments. You'll get that on a daily email from me, but then you can also become part of a private Facebook group I run that's only for paying members or people who sign up to play DraftKings through me. So if you're watching this and never played DraftKings, email me or sign up at the link below, and then I'll talk to you about the free services you'll get for that. But ultimately, people within the paying customers will get my daily emails and get to be part of this private Facebook group. We got a lot of really good members in there. We got other people who do things for golf, other people who also do basketball lineups. You're going to meet a lot of people who play DFS, and it's a community or almost like a family of us DFS players. Now, you can go to Roto Grinders, you can go to Fantasy Labs, and you can get your info there, but this is a different way to evaluate DFS. We're going to share a lot of that info in there. It can expedite your time. I have a lot of customers who stopped using any of those websites and really just get all their information from the group. If you'd be interested in checking out the group for an hour, hit me up. If you want to see a sample email from any of my sports, hit me up. But ultimately, I'll break down multiple positions for you and share my tournament plays for the day, and we can go from there. I'd love to help you start winning. $30 a month, or up until the start of NBA season, I'm running a sale on annual. So 30 times 12 is 360. You can do annual right now for 160 for the whole year. You pay today, but you won't start your actual cycle until the start of NBA season. Payable via PayPal at the email below. So let's talk about the strategy now. I've pimped my services a little bit. We got a lot of good players in the group, but we're here today to talk strategy. And I call this my 5-pack or my 5x5 strategy. And I'm going to describe it for you. Like I've already kind of referenced, I think it's a really good tournament strategy for your average player who works 9 to 5, has a life, has a family, things like that. If you have more free time, I do this professionally, so I have more free time. If you are a stay-at-home dad, if you're a stay-at-home mom, if you are on disability, whatever the reason might be, if you have more free time, you can definitely upgrade it from what I do and just make more lineups, but it should give you kind of a baseline of what you're thinking of. Now, like many of you, when I first started playing, I was struggling to get those high finishes within the tournaments. And it's kind of like, I know my stuff. Why am I not finishing higher? One day, it all clicked with me last year, and this is where the tournament strategy came from. So I went to the top of the sharpshooter, which is that $3 massive contest they run every day, and I saw one guy up there 3 different times with 3 different scores. So I looked at all of his lineups and realized he ran the same 6 guys in multiple tournaments and was just mixing and matching the 2 remaining guys around them. So my theory was, or my thought process was, he went in and picked out his 6 best players, set, from what I said, just scouring it, dozens of lineups based around those 6 guys, mixed and matched the right guys around him. On that specific day, he got his 6 guys right. He freaking nailed it. And that's why he had 3 of the top 10 finishes. Great day for him. I was definitely jealous, but it kind of clicked with me that trying to just pick one winning lineup in a GPP by just setting it once, it doesn't work, guys. So if you have a $27 a day budget for GPPs, don't play one $27 GPP lineup. Play 9 $3 lineups because you need to get to the top of these GPPs in order for it to tier in correctly for you. So the 5x5 works like this. You set 5 lineups in the same tournament with the same 5 guys going every single time. Pick out your 5 best guys. Don't be so concerned about ownership here. And that was something I also used to struggle with is I always felt like, oh, you got to go contrarian. You got to go contrarian. But if you go contrarian 8 times, I mean, that's hard. That's really, really hard to get them right going contrarian 8 times. So for these 5 guys, worry a lot less about their ownership. If it's a chalky play, like for example, if you think Damian Lillard is at 9K that day and you think he's a lock for 50, frickin' get him in there. Even if you think he'll be 40% owned, get him in there. Run him every single time. Use him as like what I call a control, as just a constant within your lineup. Run him out there over and over again and just use what he's got. Separate yourself and differentiate yourself from the pack within those other 3 remaining players. So I care less about ownership with these 5 players. I'm picking out the 5 guys I trust the most to give me a minimum 5 times value based upon their salary. They can be 3K guys, they can be 12K guys. I don't worry as much about dollar amounts. While I know I need to leave myself with enough money to pick out variations of 3 guys, I'm not overly concerned if these are high upside guys, if they're high dollar guys, low dollar guys. I want my best 5 plays, the guys I feel the safest about hitting at least 5 times value. Don't care as much if they're chalky. Then you use those remaining 3 players to pick maybe some higher upside guys. You look at guys like I always use Trevor Ariza as example because he can be hot garbage one day and then the next day his 3-point stroke is working, which gets him more engaged defensively. He picks up 4 steals and 4 blocks, and all of a sudden you're looking at 9 times value, and he could be a monster performer for you that day. Now, on the flip side, the next time out, he doesn't do it for you. His shot's not falling, and his shot's not falling, so he's more lackluster on defense, and his steals and blocks aren't coming. So you pick some of those higher upside guys. The guys have the opportunity to get for you 6, 7, 8 times value, and you mix and match those 3 spots remaining. You take a few more chances on them while using more of your quote-unquote chalky plays within the 5-pack. So I played a lot of the sharpshooter last year, so I would simply put $15 into tournaments each day. And I know that I got a ton of finishes where I was at that I think it's like 20 to 30 finishing out of 60,000 or whatever the tournament was, and that often paid out 300. I know I did that at least 6 or 7 times last year, and so those alone, let's just say 6. 6 times 300 is 1,800. Well, that covers you for more than 100 days of your $15 buy-in. So that's where a ton of profit came from. Now you throw in my $6,500 winnings. Yeah, obviously that put me way ahead there, but let's pretend that day never happened. You still could be profitable outside of that by getting a couple of those good finishes throughout the year. You're going to have, if you focus more on tournaments, you're going to have more ups and more downs than you would if you just focus on your cash games. But for many of us who notice that the cash line is getting closer and closer on cash games and tournaments, I'd rather play for the upside a lot of times. And by working on your GPP strategy, it's a good thing for you. Now, this is easy to manage, and think about it this way. Now, if you're trying to play from your phone, I can't tell you enough times, I don't believe anybody will ever be successful trying to play DraftKings from just a phone. I got multiple screens up, so I'm looking at multiple websites at the same time, checking things out. I'm back and forth into this. It's hard to get the information just on your phone. It's just too time consuming to ever really be effective doing it this way. Now, if you do all your research earlier in the day, maybe you can set a lineup at the end of the day on your phone. But if you really want to be successful, you need to be using a PC or a tablet. So you go onto the DraftKings website and you set your 5 lineups, pick out one lineup, enter it 5 times. Now you can go in there throughout the day, you go to the My Lineups tab, and you go in there and you change around those 5 guys until you're finally set. Now, I live in Central Time, so for me, it's 5 to 6 o'clock is really crunch hour. But wherever that time period is for you, that hour before the East Coast games tip off, finally figure out what it is you want for your official 5 pack. Set it in My Lineups so that it covers all 5 lineups. Now you go into my contest and you individually set all 5 of those lineups. Most of you probably would be doing that already, but if that's something you hadn't thought of yet, it'd be for probably the newer person. It's an easier way to expedite how quickly you set these lineups because time is of an essence, especially in NBA. We all know at the end of the day when we are frantically searching for starting lineups, frantically searching for the last minute injury information, that this will help you. Every few minutes you can save, I shit you not, will be a big help for you, especially if you're like me. So with that last hour being 5 to 6, I got little kids, man. So I'm there trying to get them dinner ready. I'm trying to evaluate. My wife just got home from work, so she's maybe cranky or in a good mood or whatever it might be for that specific day. I'm trying to get all my stuff set. So that's the easiest way to do it. Now, I might upgrade on some of that stuff because for me, I have extra time. During the morning, I'll be really, really busy doing all my evaluations and my write-ups. But now at nighttime, I have a little more time. So maybe I would do 3 5 packs, or I would do, instead of 5 lineups, I'd pick the same 5 guys and do it 10 times, for example. There's a million different ways you can expand upon it. But that's ultimately going to be for you. So when I do for my paying clients, I will send out my 5 pack every single day, why I am starting them. And in addition to that, I'll also send you 5 ace of a cash lineup. Some of those guys will cross over. Some of them will be different. It's a difference between upside guys and consistent place for your cash and your GPP. I think that pretty well covers what I wanted to talk about. It should give you a pretty idea of what I call a 5 pack or a 5x5. So when you hear me, if you're following me and you're watching me routinely throughout the year, when I reference my 5 pack, that's what I'm looking towards. So when I come on here during the day and I say that I like these 2 guys, they'll be 2/5 of my 5 pack. You know what I'm referencing when I talk about my lineups coming up for the day. So that's what I got, guys. If you're interested in checking out the team, I know we can help. I know our fees are fair. Hit me up over email and we can discuss it. I got a cut sheet I could send you, but ultimately, NBA season's coming. I got a sweet deal up until NBA season starts. Annual memberships from the moment tip-off starts will go from 160 back up to 200. So if you want to get in, now's the time. If you were to say sign up today, you'll get the next couple of weeks of NFL for free, just included in there. Just go ahead. I'll just get you going right away, and you can just take those as a complimentary item or whatever you want to consider it. But I'm here to help, guys. I'm pretty good at NBA. They used to call me the king of cash. I can't full lineup share anymore, so hopefully all the guys in my team take the next step this year on their own, and they're able to really kick some ass and make some good money. I love when I make money, but a close second is when the guys in my team make money. It makes me happy. One of my guys, Jim, took down his first GPP on Sunday for football. That was fantastic. I'm really happy for him. Some of my favorite feelings. So we got about 200 plus guys in this group right now, and a good number of them have won some GPPs now. And it's just an awesome feeling. And whether they use my picks or they don't use my picks, or it's just stuff they've learned or picked up from me or anybody else in the group, it really, really, really freaking cool when you see guys win GPPs for the first time. I don't care if it's a quarter arcade or a $300 tournament. Winning a GPP is a sweet feeling. And if you haven't done it, keep trucking, keep trying. It does take a lot of work. There's a lot of information out there, so it keeps people competitive. But keep your head up, keep moving forward. And if you want any help, I'm here, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a great day. And let's win some money.